In what's already been an unprecedented campaign, tonight, a dark moment in our nation's history.
What is it all about right now? We're just so broken.
A chilling and tragic event that goes beyond politics.
There's no place in America for this kind of violence. It's sick. It's sick.
And tonight, we are navigating the latest developments, from how this happened to who's responsible and where do we go from here. We want to thank you for choosing us tonight at 10. I'm Nick Soletti.
And I'm Christine Stanwood. We begin tonight with continued team coverage of that shooting at former President Donald Trump's rally in Pennsylvania. From the state capitol here to expert interviews around the country, we will cover it all tonight. And just within the last 15 minutes, we obtained this video of Donald Trump walking off a plane in New Jersey, where he will be spending the night at his resort in Bedminster. We'll get to the facts of how we got here.
Take a look at what happened.
First, the events sketched out in history as you hear those screams. This is what's being investigated as an assassination attempt on former President Donald Trump at his campaign rally in Butler, Pennsylvania. It comes just days from him accepting the Republican Party's nomination as their presidential nominee.
A man simply attending Trump's rally lost his life today. We know the shooter is a 20-year-old man from Pennsylvania, and we also know he is dead tonight. The FBI reportedly identified that man responsible. Fox News reporting the shooter was shot by a Secret Service sniper team. The Secret Service saying 2 other men were injured. Both are in critical condition. Pennsylvania State Police confirming the victims were all adult males. Their identities have not been made public.
And we could see the former president reach for his ear and then take himself to the ground. Trump saying on Truth Social he was shot with a bullet in the upper part of his right ear. That's when Secret Service agents went on top of him, quickly escorting him off the stage. And we're just now getting new images now of what appears to be blood on his ear as he raised a fist, leaving the stage. We want to show you video now of Trump's motorcade as the former president left the hospital this evening after being checked out there at the facility. Tonight, that motorcade arriving at the airport as the former president left Pennsylvania. He recently landed there at Newark Airport in just the past 20 minutes or so. We've confirmed the Butler County District Attorney's Office in Pennsylvania that the shooter was not inside this area where the rally was being held. Instead, we're being told the shooter was on top of a roof nearby. Right now, investigators are not saying whether that shooter was a man or a woman. Trump's campaign, though, also sharing a statement with ABC 15 saying, quote, President Trump thanks law enforcement and first responders for their quick action during this heinous act. He is fine and is being checked out at a local medical facility. More details will follow. And just within the last hour, the FBI, Pennsylvania State Police, and other officials giving an update on this investigation. During that news conference, they were asked if this was a failure in security.
Really, at this point, we're not going to make that assessment. There's an active investigation. A lot of things need to occur investigatively to make those determinations of what, if any, failures there were. So we can't comment on that at this time.
Well, law enforcement officials did say that the suspect did not have identification on them and that they are currently using biometrics to try to get an exact confirmed ID. Again, tonight we are also learning President Joe Biden has spoken with Trump, Pennsylvania Governor Josh Shapiro, and the mayor of Butler, where that shooting took place. The president returning to the White House a few minutes ago, where he is set to receive an updated briefing from Homeland Security and law enforcement officials. It comes as President Biden shared his remarks on today's shooting. Here's what he had to say.
I've been thoroughly briefed by all the agencies in the federal government as to the situation, based on what we know now. I have tried to get a hold of Donald. He's with his doctors. Apparently he's doing well. I plan on talking to him shortly, I hope, when I get back to the telephone. Look, there's no place in America for this kind of violence. It's sick. It's sick. It's one of the reasons why we have to unite this country. We cannot allow for this to be happening. We cannot be like this. We cannot condone this. And I want to thank the Secret Service and all the agencies, including the state agencies, that have been engaged in making sure that the people who, and we have more detail to come relative to other people maybe injured in the audience. I don't have all that detail. We'll make that available to you. I may be able to come back a little later tonight, but we'll put out a statement if I'm not able to if it's not convenient for you all. But the bottom line is that the Trump rally was a rally that he should have been able to be conducted peacefully without any problem. But the idea that there's political violence or violence in America like this is just unheard of. It's just not appropriate. And everybody must condemn it. Everybody. I'll keep you informed, and if I am able to speak to Donald, I'll let you know that as well. But so far, it appears he's doing well, number one. Number two, that there's thoroughly investigating what happened to anyone else in the audience. We have some reports, but not final reports. And every agency in the federal government, I'm going back to my phone to speak with the federal agencies that are being put together again to give me an updated briefing. Has anything happened? They learned any more in the last couple hours. So thank you very much, and I hope I get to speak to them tonight, and I'll get back to you if I do, okay?